Hello, my name is Cheryl Wagner, and this is my population level health education intervention project presentation. The four health related problems and issues that I found in the city of San Pedro were homelessness and a lack of affordable housing, the lack of access to affordable health care and medications, a lack of funds for basic needs such as nutrition, and a lack of education regarding health practices. As previously discussed in my population care plan, homelessness has increased 39% in the South Bay and Harbor area. This is far more than the national average of 12%. Homelessness is a risk factor for many diseases such as alcoholism, COPD, cardiovascular disease, tuberculosis, and injuries, which have been proven to be prevalent in the homeless community. Increased disease prevalence among homeless puts a high demand for healthcare needs on local no or low pay clinics. Lack of funds for nutritional needs and the increased cost of food has put this population at risk for malnourishment, and poor knowledge of health practices compounds this already at-risk population. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention listed four main goals for Healthy People 2020. 1. Attain high quality, longer lives free of preventable injury, disability, injury, and premature death. 2. Achieve health equity, eliminate disparities, and improve the health of all groups. 3. Create social and physical environments that promote good health for all. And 4. Promote quality of life, healthy development, and healthy behaviors across all life stages. In order for the San Pedro and South Bay residents to meet these goals, some interventions need to be made. Needs assessment. Needs were determined by interviewing different members of the community, reviewing recent articles reporting the state of affairs in the local area, and reviewing studies conducted among similar populations. Some examples include a homeless member of the community sharing with me the struggle of chronic disease management, obtaining medications and transportation to the local clinic with limited appointment availability, a local homeless shelter sharing with me the resources they provide and bed availability, a local market owner sharing with me the increased cost of food and the need to maintain prices to continue to stay in business, and interviewing different members of the community to assess their knowledge of health practices and barriers to wellness. The theoretical framework and needs assessment in the pre-seed, proceed model, phase 1 and 2 of the pre-seed, proceed model were particularly helpful in that they identified the ultimate outcome according to the perspective of the community members, and barriers to health were identified. These included a barrier to healthy nutritional choices being the cost of food, a barrier to affordable health care being the lack of transportation to the clinic and appointment availability, and a reason for homelessness being a lack of available housing and a lack of knowledge regarding community resources such as available shelters. Some more phases of the theoretical framework that helped was phase 5 and 7 of the pre-seed proceed model addressed what needed to be done in the community and how to do it. Some examples include soliciting local grocery markets to offer additional discounts to community members in need, and create opportunity for donations to be made at the register to assist local patrons in purchasing groceries. Also, using a daily planner by community members to determine how long each medication would last, and keeping track of appointments made in advance to maintain health and a steady supply of prescription, and making an assessment on what percentage of beds were available at local shelters with the goal of 100% occupancy, while educating homeless members of the community about their current resources. Some issues. Local shops were reluctant to provide discounts for groceries. Information needs to be distributed to all members of the community regarding the current public health crisis to promote an attitude of disparities being a community responsibility. Lack of a phone with members of the homeless population to make calls for clinic appointments. Some members stated they would lose their planner or appointment card, and some even had lost medication. Needs of community members to accept personal responsibility for maintaining health, and local clinics need to be more flexible with hours and services available for walk-in appointments by increasing paid staff and volunteers. And also some other issues, homeless shelters require potential occupants to line up as early as 4 a.m. For a chance at a bed, which was too early for some of the community members. And names of potential residents, a solution could be names of potential residents can be placed on a waiting list to create more availability for people in need. All right, interventions. The proposed interventions focused on utilizing resources already in place in the community. For instance, local market discounts and education to shopkeepers about homeless statistics, and local newspaper articles highlighting the community, highlighting the need in the community, which helps meet the Healthy People 2020 goal number 2 of eliminating disparities. And it also utilizes the learning theory phase 2 of identifying the issue. Another intervention is helping members of the underserved community increase health practices by keeping track of medication supply and appointments to local clinics through the use of a daily planner, which meets the Healthy People goal number 1 of attaining a high quality, longer life free of preventable disease, and also utilizes learning theory phase 5 of implementation. Another intervention would be spreading knowledge to the homeless community about available resources and urging shelters to be more flexible with their admitting criteria, which meets Healthy People goal 2020 goal number 3 of creating social and physical environments that promote good health, and also utilizes learning theory phase 4 of identifying best practices through collaboration. The budget. Minimal amount of monetary support is needed because of interventions, for the most part, plan on utilizing resources already in place and maximizing available housing through existing shelters. There's a small cost for pocket-sized daily planners, $1 to $2 per planner, or local businesses can be solicited for donation planners. Cost incurred for the first part of this intervention was approximately $10 just for the pilot of it, I guess. There should be no cost for on-the-spot education to community members. Just educating as I go does not cost anything. And utilizing volunteers in the community as a resource also is a cost-free intervention. Project evaluation. The goals and objectives for this project were to maximize impact on the community by utilizing resources already in place to improve the lives of community members in need, one person at a time, and to bring awareness to all members of the community about the public health crisis and educate them on what they can do to make a difference. Some evaluation for success. Short-term evaluation for success includes having existing shelters at 100% capacity and members of the underserved community to utilize their planners and agree to make their next doctor appointment prior to running out of medication. Local businesses offering discounts to community members in need, and community members verbalizing understanding of the importance of adopting the taught health practices. Some long-term evaluations for success includes having more facilities made available for short-term housing and projects for long-term discounted housing, more clinics available to serve the community and extended clinic hours, and more programs to provide free or discounted groceries for those in need, and educational programs at shelters and clinics to promote long-term health practices. Results and conclusions. Issues identified were homelessness and lack of affordable housing, lack of access to affordable health care, medications and nutrition, and lack of education regarding health practices. Some interventions included maximizing housing already available to community members, facilitating medication compliance and access to health care by utilizing day planners to keep track of medication supply and clinic appointments, and educating members of the community regarding this public health crisis. Weaknesses include relying too heavily on the cooperation from storekeepers and organizational skills of the community members for the interventions to work. Suggestions for future interventions would be to utilize existing shelters and nonprofit organizations such as churches to organize a food drive that can accept donations from the community who are willing to help and focus more on the local clinic, and also to focus more on the local clinic to increase its accessibility to members in need, with the rationale that these established institutions already have the goal and mindset to get on board with additional measures to help the community. These are my references. Thank you.